In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use astrology to find locations that would work better with your energy, create more harmony, more success, bring in opportunities for finances, career, love, and also places that maybe would conflict with your energy a little bit more or create conflict or maybe arguing or instability or things that maybe you don't want in your life like delays and blockages. So the first thing that you want to look at, and by the way, all the methods that I'm going to be using in this video are going to be free to use. Like, I'm not going to be using any fancy software, so that way if you want to try this at home, you can. So the first thing that you want to do though is get your birth chart up. The birth chart that I have up right now is Beyonce's, just because I felt like this would be easy to do because first of all, everyone knows who she is, and second of all, she already has houses in different locations, like multiple houses and locations, so it already shows you where she's drawn to, so I can just kind of explain why. But I am going to be explaining all the planets and locations that are either going to be positive for you or, like I said, creating a little bit more conflict. So the reason you want to look at the birth chart is because it personalizes it a little bit more, because no one is the same and not everyone is going to do the same in certain locations. So you want to look at the planets first, the signs that they're in. If someone is very heavy in earth energy, or they have a lot of planets in the earth house or a lot of planets in the earth sign, they're most likely going to do a little bit better in a more stable environment, something that is, not changing all the time or very intense. If someone has more so like a lot of planets in Aquarius or maybe an air sign, they're probably going to do a little bit better with a little bit more excitement, a little bit more changes happening with them. The next thing that you want to look at though that's very important is the aspects that are being made, because the way that we are going to see what places are beneficial for you is based on planetary lines and planetary energies. So you want to see what planets in your chart are making more positive aspects than more difficult aspects, okay? Because difficult aspects, like a hard aspect of Saturn, it can definitely create some difficulty in that particular area of life. So you want to look at that. You want to look for more sextiles, conjunctions to like Jupiter or Venus, like more positive conjunctions, because conjunction is a very hard aspect, but you want to make sure that it's to a more positive planet and not something like Saturn or Mars. Well, Mars it depends, but like conjunction of Saturn, that can be difficult. Sextile and trines, that's what you want to look for. So there's a very good Mercury right here, like very well aspected Mercury, I should say, because I don't like saying good or bad or positive or negative, even though it does slip out every now and then. It's really not how it is, because you can have a planet that has a lot of difficult aspects and it's not going to doom you or anything. It's just something that creates a little bit more difficulty in that area of life, but it's not something that you can't grow from and thrive from after. Especially with astrology, you can learn so much about yourself and how to better handle certain situations. So you just want to look at that first, and then you want to go to Google. So I already have it up here, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So you're just going to go to Astro Click Travel. It should be the first link that comes up. And if you've never been on this website before, what it's going to be asking you, so I've already done this, but what you're going to have to do is either make an account. It's going to give you two options: either make an account or use it as a guest user, where you can just, it gives you a link to a data entry page where you can just put in your birth information, which, by the way, make sure your birth time is accurate and right on the dot, because literally 5 minutes could change the whole map. Okay, so after, it'll bring you to this kind of page basically, and you go to scalable Google Maps, so that way you can zoom in and zoom out whenever you want. And what you should see is your birth information on the top, and also a map that looks like this. And it's going to have a lot of planetary lines running through it. It might look very confusing at first, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you. So right now I'm just going to be talking about how all the planets are going to generally affect you. Like I said, take your aspects into consideration. The more positive planets to live under, or what people would consider the more positive, is Jupiter, the Sun, and Venus. The more difficult places to live under would be like Saturn, Mars, especially for a long period of time, and Pluto, but it really depends. If you have a lot of Plutonian energy, or a lot of planets in the 8th house, or planets in Scorpio, or a lot of planets making aspects to Pluto, you might actually thrive in a Pluto location because it works with your energy. So You want to look at the planets to determine the best places for you, as well as the angle. So that'll give you a little bit more detail. So I'm just going to be talking about the angles first. I feel like that'll be easier to get out of the way. So I see has to do with like more so the home, what you're going to feel familiar with. A lot of people actually go to I see locations and they feel like I could settle down here, I could have a family here. I notice a lot of people having children in I see locations and establishing a home life in I see locations. MC is more so about career, your ambitions, your goals in life. It has a lot to do with what you're striving for, what you're looking to do in life, like your ambitions, your goals. I think I'm repeating myself, but it's basically just career. It basically has to do with your goals, like what your purpose is almost. Not really like a spiritual purpose or anything like that, but it does definitely have a very strong influence to do with career. Now, AC is like ascendant. It's basically the energy that you're going to be projecting off to other people. Also, I notice a lot of people in AC locations, like when I've been to AC locations or ascendant locations, I've noticed like mirroring almost, like where people come into my life where they have the same energy as me. So law of attraction is very powerful in AC locations. The energy you give off is going to be very important to what you're attracting back. Now, I'm looking for DC. Okay, so DC, that's going to be more so about longevity in regards to partnerships and relationships and marriage. So the descendant or DC is the seventh house in astrology, which is the marriage house basically. But if you have like a more business minded planet paired up with like a DC angle, you're going to bring in more so like business relationships or business partnerships that are long term. Okay, so let's start with the moon. The moon, if you decide to move to a moon location or you are in a moon location, it can definitely make you very emotionally vulnerable. You're definitely going to be seeking out emotionally fulfilling relationships or friendships or just situations in general. The only thing with the moon is it can be a little bit unstable. It sometimes doesn't really bring permanence to relationships or friendships established in those areas. Now, the next one is Chiron. So it's right here. And if you just need to, know what planet that symbol is, you can just click it and it'll show you right on the side here. Okay. So Chiron. Chiron it has to do with healing. So it can be a difficult place to live under, especially for a long period of time, because it can bring up past traumas in order for you to heal from them. But if you feel like it's totally necessary, like you need to heal from your past uh, before you could ever move forward in your life, definitely a good place to take a trip to or retreat to, maybe even spend a couple months there. It can be very beneficial. Now, Uranus, it can be very unstable. It does bring a lot of positivity in regards to independence and freedom. It kind of makes you feel like you have the freedom to do whatever it is that you want in life. It has a really good energy to it, but if you're really like striving for security and stability, can create some problems because Uranus is going to bring in surprise into your life, like things just happening out of the blue. That could be bad and that could be good. It really depends on what happens, right? But it will be happening frequently, or at least often. So it's not always going to be positive things. Sometimes it might be inconvenient to your life, or some things that you didn't want to hear have to happen. So just take that into consideration under a Uranus line. Uranus, good again for maybe taking a trip to or spending some time there, but not really long term, unless you have a lot of Uranus energy in your chart or Aquarius energy in your chart, then, or even 11th house energy, like a lot of planets in the 11th house, that could be beneficial for you, especially even for a short period of time or a long period of time. It really depends on what you're looking for. If you like that excitement and like you don't know what's happening next, Uranus could actually be really good for you. So the sun line, moving to the sun. The sun, if you have a well aspected sun, like you have a sun making some really easy aspects to other planets like sextile and trine, it can actually really give you a boost of self esteem. And it really, almost similar to Uranus, but with more stability, it can make you feel like you can do anything in life. Like it really changes your mindset on who you are. And if you ever feel like maybe you can't do something or you have a lot of self doubt, the sun line is a really good place to be. And the sun, it can also be another type of place where, like a sun IC, definitely you might want to really settle down there. Like you might want to go to a place on that line and feel like, wow, like I could really settle down here. Like I have my Venus IC and my Sun IC line very close to each other, and when I moved to that area, it was like my whole life changed. It really felt, a lot better. The energy felt a lot better because the place that I was from before actually had no energy in that place. So it wasn't really bad or good or negative, positive. It was just, you know, there was better energy out there for me. So Neptune. Okay, so Neptune, this one also has the positive and the negative. So this one can bring a lot of spiritual growth and intuitive development and spiritual development, especially if you work in like a spiritual field. It can be very beneficial, but keep in mind that if you ever decide to live or you are living under a Neptune location or Neptune energy for a long period of time, try to take off rose colored glasses once in a while, okay? Because in these locations, you might be too wrapped up in your own head, your own thoughts, and your own energy, where you're not really picking up too much on what's going on around you. So a lot of people I notice when they're in their Neptune location or in a Neptune location, I should say, it's like they're not really noticing people that might be betraying them or lying to them, or sometimes maybe your expectations of other people can be a little too high too. Sometimes maybe you're, like I said, in your own head too much in a Neptune location. So you want to make sure that you ground yourself. Now, Mercury. Okay, so Mercury, really beneficial if you work in like a communication type career, if you're communicating with people. So Beyonce, for example, she has it in Southern California, which is really good for her, and AC ascendant. It's how people are viewing her, which is very important. Mercury is really good for a business like mindset. Okay, it's really positive for being very focused on business and career and finances and everything to do with that. You can really thrive in those locations. Saturn creates delays, blockages. It can definitely help when it comes to commitments. Like, it makes you really like work hard on something, commit to something, put a lot of effort into something. However, it's not the easiest place to live under. So sometimes after a few years, people tend to feel like, okay, there must be better energy out there for me or better place out there for me. Pluto. Pluto it's very intense energy. It brings in a lot of like transformation, changes. It's not like changes happening all the time. It's more so like major life transformations happening every once in a while. It also brings in very like strong sexual energy and sexual attraction. And like I said, if you have a lot of Pluto energy, 8th house energy, Pluto location can actually be very beneficial for you, and you can feel at home in that type of energy. Jupiter is the planet of like luck and expansion, so this is a very good planet to live under because it brings in a lot of expansion and like career relationships. It helps to build on that. It also helps just for a positive mindset as well, like feeling happier, feeling more joyful. It's really positive for all of that. Now, one thing that I did notice is that she has her Pluto AC and Venus AC line in this location, that the place that she was born. And I don't follow celebrities too much, but I do know that she has talked about her hometown and how much it means to her, and I can understand why, because first of all, she has a lot of Libra in her chart, so Venus is something that works well with her. And also Pluto, she has a Scorpio moon, so I believe in this area she probably went through a lot of personal transformation, a lot of personal growth, and attracted what she needed to in her life in order to grow into the person that she is right now. Now, North Node. North Node is, it's, okay, so it's very intense. It's like Pluto, but North Node is actually, or the moon's nodes are very good places to go if you feel like you need direction in your life. If you feel like you need direction in your life, if you feel like you don't know what your purpose is, if you feel lost, take a trip to a location that your North Node is on, because it'll completely change your life. It's like destiny type energy. It's like things happening in a way where you're like, oh my god, like it feels fated. It feels like things are happening for a reason, and it helps put you on that path. But it's so intense that it's very difficult to live under a place like this for a long period of time. Mars can bring in, it can bring in like conflict and fighting sometimes. It can also bring in, it can bring in like confrontations and attention from people that you might not want attention from. But it can also be very positive for the moment, like a short period of time, like bringing in passion or physical intimacy. So it's not a bad place to take for like a week or a weekend with maybe a partner. It's not negative for that. It also can help with like energy boost and drive and ambition and kind of, again, like putting you on a path that you might want to be on, changing your mindset up a little bit. But for the long term, it tends to transition from that to like frustration and conflict. If you have a lot of Mars in your chart, it actually might be something that's a little exciting for you, like something that you enjoy. Like personally, I have a lot of Aries in my chart, so Mars locations aren't really the worst for me. But sometimes, everyone needs a little bit more peace and stability in their life. So even for me, I personally wouldn't live in a Mars location. Okay. So, oh, another question that I get a lot is people asking me, like, oh, where's a good place to go with a partner or on a trip or meet a partner? And first of all, you don't have to go to any particular location to meet a partner. Like, I genuinely believe that we attract certain things when they're meant to happen. Just after doing astrology for so many years, it's pretty evident to me that that's what happens. However, I would definitely recommend Venus DC lines and Jupiter DC lines for trips with partners or honeymoons, or even places that maybe you really want to focus on relationships or bring in a relationship. It definitely can attract that energy to you. So I would recommend those places. Okay, so if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos up about compatibility and synastry. And if you do have any recommendations on videos you'd like to see, just let me know. And if you have any questions about this video, let me know as well in the comments, and I will do my best to respond to them based on the knowledge that I have.